Hi, I'm Emma and I just turned 16. My life took a sharp turn recently, so let me give you a peek into my world. On the surface, my family looked perfectly ordinary. My dad, Jake, was a dedicated engineer and my mom, Lisa, managed the household. I had a younger brother, Sam, who was 8 years my junior. Dad was a project manager at a prominent firm that actually belonged to my great-uncle on my mom's side. Uncle Harold was a self-made entrepreneur who started with a few auto repair shops and later expanded into manufacturing auto parts. When he retired, he offered the business to Mom, but she turned it down, so Dad took the reins. That's when things started to unravel. I remember the day it all fell apart. I was studying in my room when I heard Mom screaming at Dad downstairs. "You're just a failure, Jake. This is my family's legacy, and you should be grateful I let you manage it." In the weeks that followed, their arguments became a constant backdrop. Dad and Mom barely spoke, and their conversations always ended in fights. I tried to keep Sam occupied, but even at 7, he sensed something was off. Then everything changed in a single day. I came home from school to find Dad standing in the living room with a suitcase. "Dad, what's going on?" I asked, my voice trembling. He hugged me tightly, his eyes brimming with tears. "I'm sorry, Emma. I can't stay here anymore. It's not good for anyone." I felt like I was suffocating. But what about Sam? What about me? I questioned. He stepped back, wiping his tears. "I love you both more than you know, but sometimes love isn't enough," he said. He bent down and hugged Sam. "Be good for your sister, okay, champ?" And just like that, he was gone, the door closing behind him, leaving me feeling hollow. When Mom came home, she seemed unsurprised. "Good riddance," she muttered when I told her Dad had left. "Mom, how can you say that?" I cried. She turned to me, her eyes cold. "Jake cheated on me, Emma. Repeatedly. He left us for another woman, and didn't even pay alimony." That night, everything changed forever. I lay in bed, hearing Mom laughing on the phone in her room. I wondered who she was talking to, but exhaustion won out. Just when I thought things couldn't get more complicated, Mom dropped another bombshell. At breakfast, she announced, "I have some news. I'm getting married." I nearly choked on my cereal. "Mom, Dad's only been gone for 3 months." She waved it off. "Sometimes true love happens unexpectedly, Emma. You'll understand when you're older." 2 weeks later, Mark moved in. He was tall and handsome, the kind of guy people describe as nice. But something about him didn't sit right with me. He made an effort with Sam, but I felt invisible. Meanwhile, the company was changing too. Mom took over and brought Mark into the business. They worked well together, always discussing new plans. I tried to focus on school and friends, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being sidelined in my own family. Things took another turn when Mom and Mark announced they were opening a new branch of the company in another city. One evening, Mom told me, "We're moving. It's a fantastic opportunity, Mark, and I think it's best if you stay here. You're almost done with school, and it wouldn't make sense to transfer now." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. "So, where am I supposed to live?" I asked. "On the street?" Mom frowned. "Don't be dramatic, Emma. You'll stay with your great-aunt. She's agreed to it." I stormed off to my room, slamming the door. As I lay in bed, tears of frustration streamed down my face. When did I become such a burden to my mother? The next few weeks flew by with packing and farewells. Sam was heartbroken about leaving his friends. I tried to stay positive for him. "Will you visit us, Emma?" he asked, tears in his eyes. I hugged him tightly. "Of course I will, kiddo. You can't get rid of me that easily." The day they left, I stood on the porch with my great-aunt, watching as the moving truck pulled away. Mom gave me a brief hug, and Mark gave a stiff nod. Then they were gone, taking Sam with them. Living with my great-aunt wasn't as bad as I'd feared. She was pretty cool, giving me space but always ready with a cup of tea and a listening ear. Still, it didn't feel like home. As my 20th birthday approached, I woke up feeling strange. I should have been excited, but instead, I felt empty. Mom called, of course. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," she said cheerfully. "Sorry we can't be there. Work is crazy. We'll celebrate next month when we visit." I knew they wouldn't. Grandma sensed my mood and went all out. She let me invite a few friends, order my favorite food, and even baked a cake herself. For a few hours, I almost forgot everything. The next morning, Grandma called me into her office. She had a serious look on her face. "Sit down, Emma. We need to talk." My heart raced. Was she kicking me out? But then she smiled, reached into her drawer, and pulled out a small folder. "Happy birthday, sweetheart. Open it." When I saw what was inside, my heart nearly stopped. "Grandma, is this?" She nodded. "The company is yours now, Emma. I see great potential in you. I know you'll do right by it. But Mom and Mark are running it now," I said, still in shock. Grandma's expression tightened. "They're running a branch. The main company, the heart of it all, is yours now." I was stunned. Me, barely 20, the owner of a multi-million-dollar company. It felt unreal. I don't know what to say. Grandma squeezed my hand. "You don't have to say anything. Just promise me you'll give it your all." I nodded, still in shock. "I promise." She leaned back, satisfied. "Now, I have one more piece of advice. Call your father. There's more to the story than you know. Talk to him, even if it's just as a consultant." It took me a week to find the courage to call Dad. We decided to meet at a cozy cafe downtown. When I saw him, my heart tightened. He looked older, tired, but his eyes brightened when he saw me. There was an awkward silence at first, but then everything spilled out. The divorce, Mom's remarriage, the move, and Grandma's gift. Dad listened quietly. When I finished, he took a deep breath. "Emma, there's something you need to know about the divorce." He told me everything. How Mom never respected him, always putting him down, and how he made the biggest mistake of his life by cheating on her. I regretted it immediately, but your mother used it against me. She threatened to take everything, even you and Sam. I didn't want you both to go through a messy public divorce. I was shocked. This didn't sound like the mom I thought I knew. Why didn't you fight back? Dad looked at me with sadness. Because of you and Sam. I didn't want you both to suffer through it all. I thought it would be easier this way. As we talked, a weight lifted off my chest. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I had my dad back. Before we parted ways, I asked, "How would you feel about helping me with the company as a consultant?" His smile was all the answer I needed. The following months were a whirlwind. I crammed for exams, and before I knew it, I was standing on stage at my high school graduation with my diploma in hand. Grandma was there, beaming proudly. Mom and Mark were nowhere to be seen, but I had learned not to expect much from them. As summer arrived, I focused on college applications with Grandma's support and Dad cheering me on from afar. When acceptance letters arrived, I was overjoyed, especially when I saw the full scholarship from my top choice. Grandma cheered and hugged me. "I knew you could do it, kiddo." All those late nights and competitions paid off. I decided to major in business management, knowing it was the right choice with the company in my future. It still felt surreal, but I was determined to make Grandma proud. To celebrate my college acceptance, Grandma threw a small party for us. We got some fancy takeout and a bottle of sparkling cider. Grandma wasn't about to let me drink champagne, even though I was now an adult. We were halfway through dinner when the doorbell rang. Grandma looked puzzled. "I'll get it," I said, putting down my fork. When I opened the door, my heart sank. There stood Mom and Mark, looking annoyed and impatient. Before I could react, they pushed past me into the house. "Emma, we need to talk about the company," Mom demanded, diving into her rant. She didn't even look at me, didn't ask about my graduation or college. It was like I wasn't even. The weeks following my graduation were a whirlwind of preparations and transitions. With Grandma's guidance, I delved deep into the company's operations, learning every facet of its workings. Each day presented new challenges, but I was determined to prove myself worthy of Grandma's trust and the legacy she had handed down to me. Dad was a constant presence, offering advice and sharing his experiences. Despite his busy schedule, he made it a point to be there for me whenever I needed support. Olivia, now a teenager with a growing sense of independence, seemed to understand the gravity of the changes around us. She was proud of me and made it clear that she saw me as more than just a big sister, but as someone she admired and looked up to. Grandma continued to be my rock, her wisdom and experience guiding me through complex decisions. Our Sunday dinners remained a cherished tradition, offering me a sense of normalcy amidst the whirlwind of running a business. We often sat together, discussing everything from market trends to family anecdotes. Her stories about the early days of the company and the values she held dear were a constant source of inspiration. One crisp autumn morning, a new opportunity presented itself. During a strategy meeting, we received an offer to partner with a well-known tech company looking to develop a new line of eco-friendly products. The proposal was ambitious, promising significant growth and innovation for our company. I was excited, but the decision was daunting. It was a risk, one that could either propel the company into a new era or lead to unforeseen challenges. I spent hours reviewing the details, consulting with Dad and Grandma, and weighing the potential outcomes. Each conversation and analysis brought new insights. Finally, after much deliberation, I decided to move forward with the partnership. It was a bold step, but one I felt was in line with Grandma's vision of growth and innovation. As the partnership progressed, I found myself facing new pressures and responsibilities. Balancing the company's expansion with my personal life was a delicate act. Yet, the support of my family, the wisdom from Grandma, and the unwavering encouragement from Dad helped me navigate through the toughest moments. Through it all, I learned the true meaning of leadership and resilience. The company thrived, and I found a renewed sense of purpose in my role. My relationship with Dad grew even stronger, and Olivia's curiosity and enthusiasm about the business made me hopeful for the future. One evening, as I sat in my office reflecting on the journey, I realized how far I had come from the girl who had once felt overwhelmed by her family's turmoil. I was now leading a company, shaping its future and building a legacy of my own. The challenges had been many, but they had also forged me into a leader who was ready to face whatever came next. I knew that the road ahead would be filled with more obstacles, but I also knew that with my family by my side, I was more than capable of facing them. As I looked out over the city skyline, I felt a profound sense of accomplishment and excitement for the future that lay ahead. The partnership with the tech company turned out to be a game changer for our business. We launched a new line of eco-friendly products to rave reviews, and the increased visibility brought a surge of new customers. It was exhilarating to see the company's growth and know that my decision had been instrumental in that success. Despite the successes, balancing work and personal life remained a challenge. College was demanding, and managing the company required constant attention. I juggled between attending lectures, meeting with the company's team, and strategizing for future projects. I was constantly on the go, but the satisfaction of making a difference kept me motivated. One particular evening, as I was working late in my office, Dad called with some exciting news. He had just secured a significant investment deal for a new project he had been working on. His excitement was palpable, and it was clear that his hard work was paying off. I was thrilled for him, and we celebrated over a late-night video call. Olivia, now in high school, had grown into a remarkable young woman. Her interest in the family business had only deepened, and she often came to me with innovative ideas and questions about the industry. It was heartwarming to see her passion and determination, and I couldn't help but imagine the potential she held for the future. One day, Grandma asked me to meet her at her house for a special discussion. I arrived, and after some warm tea and catching up, She revealed that she was considering stepping back from her daily involvement in the company. Her health had become a concern, and she felt it was time to pass on more responsibilities to me. I was taken aback. While I understood her reasons, the thought of taking on even more responsibilities was daunting. Grandma reassured me that she had full confidence in my abilities, and that this was her way of showing her trust and support. With a heavy heart but a determined spirit, I accepted the responsibility. Grandma's role in the company had been foundational, and the idea of stepping into her shoes was both an honor and a challenge. I knew I had big shoes to fill, but I was ready to rise to the occasion. The transition was smooth, thanks to the solid foundation Grandma had built and the dedicated team she had nurtured. I took on the additional responsibilities with a sense of purpose, working closely with the team to ensure that the company continued to thrive. One Saturday morning, as I was preparing for a major presentation, Olivia burst into my office, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She had just been accepted into a prestigious business program at a top university. Her achievement was a proud moment for both of us, and we celebrated together, knowing that the future held endless possibilities for her. As the months passed, the company continued to grow, and I found my stride in balancing work and personal life. Weekends with Dad and Olivia remained a cherished time, filled with laughter and support. Grandma, though less involved in the daily operations, remained a guiding force, always ready with advice and encouragement. One crisp winter evening, as I walked through the city streets, I reflected on how far I had come. The journey had been challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. I had faced obstacles, made tough decisions, and grown into a leader who was ready to face whatever the future held. With the company in a strong position and a bright future ahead, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the family that had supported me and the experiences that had shaped me. I knew that there would be more challenges and opportunities to come, but I was ready to embrace them with confidence and determination. Looking up at the twinkling city lights, I smiled, knowing that the journey was far from over. The road ahead was full of promise, and with the love of my family and the strength of my own resolve, I was ready to continue writing the next chapter of my life story.